Welcome everyone to another episode of Your Turn and Play Casket with your wonderful hosts, Paraka the Goblin and
Ghost, your co-host.
In this episode, we're still going to be in a lot of the nitty and gritty of video game industry. There's been a lot of stupid stuff still stupidly going on.
Lots of massacres.
Yeah. The tech industry is not done massacring itself with all these firings and job losses and studio closures. And honestly, if you look even further past video games, it's happening a lot. Like, it's happening a lot. And I don't see it stopping anytime soon. But we're focusing on games. We're focused on Microsoft closing another, 4 or 5 studios or something like that?
5 studios.
5 studios? Yeah, like apparently, and like all of them released a game recently, and even one of them got like Game of the Year awards and stuff, and Microsoft looked at it and went, ew, success, and closed it.
Well, the thing is, that it goes to show that maybe Game Pass might not be all that sustainable.
Yeah. So, we're going to go into some detail. Microsoft has closed, Arcane Austin, Tango Gameworks, so the dishonored people who end up being forced to make Redfall. May they rest in peace.
Oof, I forgot about Redfall.
Tango, dude, I'm pretty sure even Arcane Austin was like, we really should have not done that. Tango Gameworks, who made Hi-Fi Rush. Roundhouse, who I'm not familiar with a lot of their work. I'm pretty sure they've done a lot. And who else has done anything?
Alpha Dog Games.
So 4, 5-ish.
Oh,
They're
4.
not done. They're not done.
I know.
But yeah, continue with that with the Game Pass stuff. Okay, I'll continue with the Game Pass stuff.
Well, the thing is just like they won't give us the numbers. That's kind of the issue. Is we don't know how much. What was it? We don't know how well they're doing on Game Pass, but it was enough to close down the studios. I think with like Hi-Fi Rush as well too, with it being so recently released, like it still did well on Game Pass, surprisingly, because I guess everybody was doom and gloom about it, but it turns out that it actually helped it because it's a new IP and it incentivized people to buy it. But with Game Pass too, it just wasn't enough to cut it. But I don't know. It just goes back to maybe just the production of it was too damn expensive.
Well, not only that, but you also had like an entire soundtrack that's just a collection of very popular media anyway. So you got licensing fees out the ass right there too.
Oh yeah.
Even though they had streamer-friendly versions of that stuff, and that still wasn't enough, which is weird, right? Mm-hmm. Even though the streamer-friendly would still consider remixes, so not technically they're the original owners or something like that. There's a lot of weird nuances to music to that like that, right? But on top of that, even with that, there was a few people who came out after all the closures and be like, whatever, my job's out in the tube now because Microsoft decided to do this. So I'm just going to go ahead and blow the whistle on this, but Phil Spencer apparently was very adamant about getting Game Pass out there. Well, everyone else was, even other third parties were like, we're not going to hype on this unless we're getting some kind of money on this.
Yeah.
And they're like, fine, they probably paid out a good pretty penny for a lot of them, and I think that's why they're buying more studios. Because that way they don't have to pay any licensing fees to free games on Game Pass. They own them all.
Yeah.
So that just goes back to the fact that I was right, 6 months ago in one of our episodes? Where I thought, and I predicted that a lot of these buyouts with Microsoft is that they're buying the legacy like it's fucking real estate. Mm-hmm. And they're only buying the legacies. They don't care about new games. They want to buy your Crash Bandicoots because they know they could sell you that Crash Bandicoot repeatedly, as opposed to making a brand new Crash Bandicoot and trying to sell it to you again, because how often some people don't like new stuff. Look at how Mortal Kombat 11-1 has looked, and I don't think it's going to go on a continued decline from there.
And just look at Beats. Look at Apple wanted them, so they just bought them out. They couldn't make their own, so
they couldn't make their own, so they bought Beats and tried to basically have a pseudo-competitive brand, and now it just sucks. No one wants Beats, you know? And Dr. Dre is walking away with a whole boatload of more cash. You know, congratulations.
Doesn't matter anyways because they make a ton of money on the AirPods, so it's like Beats could crash and then they're just like, well, it doesn't matter. AirPods do well anyways.
Well, there's also that whole fact that there's a lot of companies who will buy out their competitors just so they don't have competitors.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. You know?
Well, it kind of brings me back to the whole reason why Microsoft is pushing this, so that they get more influence in the mobile market, which is kind of very strange that everybody's pushing into mobile right now.
I think the situation is because mobile market is the most easiest accessible gaming device, period. You have it on you all the time. It's going to be in your pocket all the time. It's going to be there, right there, all the time. And so a lot of people are like, we need that, and so we could sell you stuff even when you're not near stuff. I just want to be able to sell you more of these games. That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
Like, when you look at a lot of the games, like even, what was a recent game? It was like AFK's Arena new sequel, AFK Journey. There you go. They're like that too. Like, they want to be able to sell you, they want to sell you stuff to reward you for not playing the game, because that's basically the mechanic of AFK is like you play a little bit and you not play, and it slowly builds up this stuff, so when you revisit you have all this stuff that can power level your characters and stuff, and you could push further, and then you just not play some more, and the whole routine continues. But now they're offering more rewards for not playing the game, which is dumber than crap, you know. And I think a lot of companies are out there like, we want that too. That's what we want.
Well, yeah,
because it's fundamentally just passive income.
Yeah. Well, most mobile games are all the same too.
Oh yeah, dude.
You play one and then you get the clones of the other, so that you're waiting for your daily for the one that you're mainly playing.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot of those like passive RPGs in general.
Yeah.
Like not just Raid, not just this AFK Journey or Arena. I don't know how many other people played the other one. But even Disney has done it. They have this weird one where it's like RPG, but like it's all passive and crap. It's boring. Like almost everyone wants to get onto this collect-a-thon, collect all the cool characters you once loved as children, but now in game form. But also spend a lot of money and a chance to have that. Where like the games I've been playing, like forces you to engage. Like if you're gonna play it, you're gonna play around. You're gonna be involved. Brawl Stars, oddly enough, Angry Birds, for as long as it's been around, is still one of the more engaging games. Not my cup of tea, but it's just now that I mention it, it literally is. The only time you're playing that game is when you're playing the game. You're flicking a bird around to crash into buildings. That's it.
Yeah.
You're just playing pocket versions of 9/11. That's it. You know, and that's all it needs to be this multi-million-dollar success. And that's all you need is something that helps you engage. And more props to it. Might not be my thing, but I play Brawl Stars. I play Clash Royale because Clash of Clans is a passive one. You gotta wait for your gold to build up. You gotta wait for. I don't like those either. Like I hate not playing by playing. Like it's weird. It is the stupidest concept. But I think a lot of companies, just like Ubisoft, EA, Microsoft, all of them, I think like, oh man, if we could just get a solid gacha game over there, that'd be awesome. Like Microsoft tried that with that weird Funko one. That Funko Gears of War one.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they did that. That was horrible. Don't look that up. Like, it was bad, man.
But I'm curious to what other studios will be next on the chopping block, because it's gonna keep coming. I don't think they're gonna done.
You say that now, and I've only seen some advertisement for Senua's Sacrifice on Twitter from Microsoft, and that's the only time I realized it's releasing next week.
Oh yeah.
See? See? Like I thought that was still in the ether of development. It was like, nah, it's releasing next week. I'm like, oh, I guess Microsoft's firing you guys too, huh? Like that's just like, yikes, guys.
The only time I ever knew about that series was because Total Biscuit talked about it a while back, and then like somebody else was talking about it for like ever, and they wouldn't shut up about it because a woman made it. And it's like, well, what's like? So, it looks okay.
It's if you're into more of a narrative story, like that's the type of game that kind of that type of game kind of falls into that. You know, it's very narrative driven. It's not all that heavy, but it's like kind of tells a tale of like competing with sorrow and stuff like that about what has happened. It's like mental illness and stuff. So in an artistic way, and a lot of people are like, "Wow, that's so cool." And like I could see where some of the arguments is like, "Oh no, you don't understand the gravity of what is trying to be told here." Like, no, I do totally understand it, but it's supposed to be a game. I'm supposed to be involved.
Yeah.
You know, like I hate these narratives. That's why I hate visual novels. I'm not impacting this fucking story in any way, or I don't feel like I'm part of it. You know,
Well,
I'm not moving the characters along. Even at least RPGs at least give me a little bit of effort. Like, hey, you know those 30,000 boars you killed? You helped me kill Sephiroth. Thanks, guy. You know, like that's basically it.
Well,
right?
it's like, oh, you know this ketchup? It is the best. Like, Greg put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this bottle of ketchup. It's like, just give me my ketchup. I want to go already. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you don't understand the air of this ketchup, like the aroma. And, like, I understand that there's some stuff that requires it, but, like, I do feel like there's a lot of elitism. I'm saying like a lot today. I apologize. But there's a lot of elitism to this whole, you don't understand media literacy. You don't understand the nuances about what she's trying to convey. Like, shut up, dude. Like, it's supposed to be a video game. I'm supposed to be involved in the interactions a lot more. Like, it's that one and Sea of Solitude kind of aligned to the same type of story mechanisms, just like different styles. So I can see where they're going with this. And honestly, Ninja Theory, I'm glad that Senua was their success, because they weren't succeeding anywhere else. And then now Microsoft bought them. They're releasing a sequel, and they're probably closed in 5 months. They're going to talk about how great it is. It's so wonderful to have somebody like this, and games like Senua's Sacrifice and the sequel is just so critical to us. We're going to close down their studio tomorrow. We just really appreciate all their effort. You know, it's just stuff like that.
But yeah, soak up the talent, destroy the get rid of the studio.
Microsoft has always had that pattern. Like, it's Microsoft 101. Like, they used to do that with other companies. They would buy the company, slowly absorb all the resources, gut it, and then they just kind of cut it off like a vestigial limb. Like, just boop, gone. But they own everything else. Like, awesome. Like, that's what they want to do. That's exactly what they're doing with games. Hell, they even have some people talking about in their circles are saying like it's no longer Xbox anymore. It's called it's like going underneath this whole umbrella branch of Microsoft Gaming, like Experience Studio or just normal studios.
Yeah, I remember them changing the brand. It's not like Game Pass anymore. It's like Microsoft Games.
Yeah,
Pass or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting really suspicious of how they're handling everything, and I guarantee you this stuff ain't done. Microsoft is not done. They're gonna start chopping limbs off everywhere, and it's going to look like a bloody massacre. And then there's Sony doing the same type of crap, you know? Like, damn, and I don't even want to try to touch more into Sony, because Sony still has some weird crap going on too, but...
Well, supposedly from what I heard, they want to integrate PSN with PC so that PlayStation and PlayStation and PC will get simultaneous releases in the future.
Maybe. We'll see how that works out. Honestly, I could see Sony... Honestly, I think it still benefits Sony to release their games timed exclusive to their systems, because they want to sell their system. What's the point in doing that and saying, oh, you can still get our stuff elsewhere? You know what I mean? Like, I could see that having a problem. But that just goes back to the whole power pissing contest. Like, everyone's trying to get more graphics, more powerful system, which has been tripling, quadrupling resource management, time, development, and like all of this crap. And then they just release a game that costs so much more that they need to sell 12 million to even break even. You know? It's weird to say this, but Nintendo won the console war by not being in the console war. Like, they're just like, I'm not playing this game, I'm going to do my own thing since the GameCube, because they tried to do the GameCube thing. And people were saying, oh, but the GameCube was so great. Not to Nintendo's finances, moron. It's the whole reason why the Wii even existed, because they couldn't compete anymore. They couldn't do it, because even when they're in the middle of the ground, why do that when Sony brand still exists? Because honestly, by that point, no matter what Nintendo would do, people would still buy stuff on a PlayStation system because that's just quote unquote the popular thing, the thing I grew up with, the whatever other excuse they have. And so they just did their own thing. So people are like, oh, you know what? I would like to actually try the Wii. This is kind of interesting. They went with that. That's the path they went. And because of that, they are more financially stable during this like slow video game crash that everyone else is freaking out about. And they're just like, what? They have made more money in the Switch era than all their other eras combined. Again, they're winning. Not this fanboy war thing. They're financially winning. They have an objective victory right now. If we're talking competition.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's looking to outsell the PS2 too. So
yeah, and which is funny because what was it? The old Jim Ryan came out. He's like, yeah, actually, the PS2 sold even more millions. And then it's like, oh, yeah, go ahead, Jim, yeah. And then they're like, okay, so if it comes up close again, he's going to pop out of a, like, hat. I'm Jim Ryan, and I need to tell you, the PS2 actually sold 300 billion. And they're like, oh, yeah! Like, it's just, really, why would you come out with that now? Because you want to try to keep that milestone because you're such an egotistical dumbass? You know, like, it's going to happen. Because we have more people just in fundamentals owning a video game system than ever before. It's going to happen. It's an inevitability because how much the gaming industry has grown. Period.
Yeah.
You know? I just think that they have such an ego about it. Like, we have to keep that number one, or else what are we? Well, you're a PS5, then nobody wants that. Like, that's exactly what you are right now.
Speaking of things that nobody wants, race swapping.
Race swapping is another thing nobody wants. Ain't that right? Ubisoft.
Unless you really like it and you're going to go out and support Ubisoft and buy the $130 version to show how not racist you are.
Show us the true experience of quadruple A gaming and tell us how much we're missing out with whatever missing story that we will never be privileged to because we're never buying the game and all that.
So Black and White Samurai.
So Ubisoft saw Afro Samurai recently and they're like, we need to make a game like that too, but we also need to make it like historically accurate. So they chose a icon, like a legendary icon of
Nobunaga.
Of the Edo period. Who served under
Nobunaga.
Oda Nobunaga as a retainer.
Yeah.
Right? He didn't really become a samurai or anything. He just all that, right? Now, fundamentally, my opinion of this decision is this kind of tracks with all of Ubisoft's stupid decisions. You know what I mean? Like, since Valhalla, they have basically told us that we have time-traveling, reincarnating gods. And then one of those Norse gods then reincarnated to a Middle Eastern assassin and just stayed Middle Eastern and kept reincarnating to a Middle Eastern character ever since. Okay, right? On top of that, everyone else is just recreating and just jumping around different other stuff and all that. There's just, the story's already lost. Yeah. It jumped the shark long ago. Them making a black character, period. I don't even care if it's a brand new black character. It kind of tracks with Ubisoft's stupid decisions. Period.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised by it. In fact, I'm not upset by it. But I do think it's a kind of funny when you think about all the other games they did. You're an assassin. In fact, a lot of the older games even talk about the fact that you're an assassin. You're not supposed to be a famous character. You're not supposed to be changing the world. You've helped people change the world. But you're an assassin. You have to hide in the shadows. That is what your order is supposed to do. Ooh, mysterious, right? I stopped at Black Flag. A lot of people are going to start noticing some. Like, a lot of the stuff I had to learn about this is I do those Smash boards. And I've been picking up characters, and I've just been doing Google searches to understand the characters a bit more. I'm like, what the when did gods exist? Oh, they're not really gods. They're kind of like aliens that time travel and also reincarnate. what? Like, that's basically my Dude, I had to read some of these paragraphs like 3 or 4 times to make sure I'm not high. Like, it is goofy as hell. So, I'm not surprised. But it's funny that it's going against its own grain, because Ubisoft deliberately picked a racially charged leader, or something, basically a notable character, a notable person in history, right? Whereas you could have been like some side character who meets Yasuke and then helps him become a samurai, even though that never really happens in real life. That would have made a bit more sense. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like that would have been made more sense in the realm of Assassin's Creed, at least.
Yeah.
I miss when it was just, you're just time traveling through your mental
ancestors
or whatever ancestors. Now it's just like, no, wizards. Like, that's basically it. But it's just funny that they are so committed to the bit, though. They literally have so many like these wokies going into Wikipedia and changing shit to align with the claims Ubisoft made. Actually, he was always a samurai. He was never a samurai. He was a retainer for Nobunaga. And nobody even says a recording that he may have been a samurai. He was dressed up as a samurai because to them, that was funny.
Okay, so he was a commoner, and they couldn't have commoners around nobility. So they put him in... they gave him nobility, and they put him in armor so that they could have commoners around nobility. And that's the only reason why he's a samurai, but... He's just a retainer for Nobunaga.
He's not a samurai. He's just dressed up as one. Basically.
So, yeah.
And like the thing is, it's even funnier too when you like just looking at it. The fact that people were going out of their way to adjust and change Wikipedia to try to like match that claim. Like that's like. I understand how some people are saying, like, you're just trying to rewrite history, big surprise. Wokies like to do that anyway, because the problem is, if they make a claim and it's wrong, they'll change everyone else so they're right.
Yeah.
They're like, I have no problem about being wrong, but I will never be because I keep changing Wikipedia.
Well, that's the only...
It's so fucking stupid.
But that's the only defense they have to making a black samurai was that, he's real. He existed. Like, if that's the case, then what the hell is up with the rest of the Assassin's Creed characters? Because they're all fictional.
Yeah, they're all fictional. They're all like, even Edward Kenway, he was a pirate, right? Yeah. And there's no Edward Kenway that's a pirate. But he met a lot of key characters of that era, of the Caribbean era and stuff, and like talk to people that were popular pirates and conquistadors and stuff. And in the I think Assassin's Creed 3, I have not played these in a while, the revolutionary one, they even get Native Americans in their little League of Shadows like group, and they're not known characters. They're not known African Americans. They're not legendary people who have changed the course of history. They were shadow assassins, basically a shadow government. They don't get to be known. But you still meet Benjamin Franklin. You still meet you these characters in a lot of them, right? Yeah. But this is the one thing that like they change from their own rule set that they've basically established with every other game. People are like, you don't care about, like, no, it's the fact that they are making you the solitary leading character that has ever led, like, this, like, notable character in history. An Assassin's game that every other game beforehand, you will never be known. You will be forgotten. And that was the part of, like, that mystique about playing those games and the story. Even though the story is, like, goofballs, man. Yeah. Like, it is goofballs now. I miss just dreaming about my ancestors. Now, we're time traveling with wizards and shit. It's weird, man.
It's shitty fanfic. We all know what it is.
It is. And, like, the only reason why I think, like, Ubisoft went down this route Like, they even had somebody who came in and covered bases about it. Like, oh yeah, here we actually had one that was more about the culture of Japan and had one of the swords that were truth, and then Nobunaga was actually using it to unite Japan, and there's like a whole thing. And I'm like, that sounds a lot like Assassin's Creed. This does not. But when he got got let go, they're like, let's change it because I need some more ESG money, and then that's basically what's going on. Is they think, you know what, it's ridiculous because the people who clamor for this type of representation will go to defense to them.
Yeah,
they will go to they'll go to bat because they made one character a different color. And like, oh my god, I'm represented. But that is like, it could be the most shallow, most basic and stereotypical character out there. Like, the samurai would probably even, like, Ubisoft is so tone deaf, I wouldn't be surprised if they went shit in one of the fucking memes or whatever in the new Assassin's Creed game, and these guys are gonna be like, well, I kind of relate to that because that was funny, hee, but you guys were all talking about how this needed to be serious to begin with. Like, where's your, like, honestly, it's so double standards. If they didn't have any, or if they didn't have double standards, they wouldn't have any at all.
Well, I think they also did this to get the outrage marketing, so that people would defend Ubisoft's $130 price tag.
Like, literally, I saw it on like an IGN feed. I'm like, imagine simping for Ubisoft of all people.
The games aren't even that good.
Like, this is some low hanging fruit. It's damn near rotten, guys, and you're like, delicious apple.
We know they're doing it.
Oh,
we know the whole reason why they're doing it.
And it's funny because honestly, they've even told me that I was like stupid upset when I was like mocked them about it. I'm like, you're defending Ubisoft over this.
It's not gonna save.
What are you doing?
It's not gonna save them. Like, do you not see what they're doing? Like, your dad pissed you off, so he shows up with a backwards baseball cap. He's like, yo, what's up? I'm sorry about what happened. It's like, oh my god, and you fall for it.
He totally gets it. No. Oh my god.
Like, that's a type of like flipperoo, switcheroo thing.
How you do, fellow kids? Like, that's basically it, dude.
Yeah, okay, Dad. That makes sense.
Like, honestly, it's really sad. Like, we're coming into Pride Month here soon too, and all these companies will just be like, we painted things yellow in all the colors of the rainbow. Don't you like us again? Because we're in support for you. Buy our crap.
Yeah,
that's basically it. You are commoditized, and you all are sitting there, and you're like, yeah, this is good. None of the representations you get are really good, but all these people are like, yo, no, Ubisoft's really good. They're daring to making this decision. No, they're not, dude. They're bad. They are.
You're right. You're right. Like, buy 5 years of Ubisoft subscription.
Yep. Go ahead. You know what? Do that. Just why don't you go ahead and spite us and buy the $130 Elite Pack and the DLC for not just you but 2 of your friends to cover this this protest of this channel.
Really
while you're at it, just stick it to us, guys. Just really stick it to the chuds.
Or this might be crazy, and it could be quite the gamble and like a very interesting play. Is what if the real samurai was actually in Africa for the next Assassin's Creed? That's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off, right? Dude, so we'll have a Japanese samurai in Africa as an assassin. That would be quite the bold strategy. I'm like, okay, you know what?
If Ubisoft does that, I will. You fucking quote me on this. If Ubisoft does that, I will literally buy us both the $130 game. I will do that because that shit would be hilarious. And you know what? Even if they are still woke to this point, if they're able to do that crap, I will do that. Yeah. You can hold me to that, and I will buy us both the Elite one just because of that. Just because of that. We know they won't, but if they do, I will eat my crow, and I will buy that game for us both. I'll buy the whole catalog of Assassin's Creed and actually play it, so some of these Assassin's Creed fans will stop like busting capillaries listening to us about being You stopped at Black Flag, but you don't know that Odyssey was the best. No, it was the dude. It never got better after 1. It just never got better after 1. I played 1. It had a lot of empty space. But okay. And like I stopped playing, and all my friends were like, you need to play it again, and all that. So I was gonna buy Black Flag because everybody could play it together. And then as soon as I bought it, nobody else wanted to play anymore. They just kind of moved on to something else. Like, really? Am I like, no? That's when I stopped. Like, honestly, it wasn't and Black Flag wasn't all that exciting outside the same mechanics as 1 did, and that was it. That was literally my experience. But yeah, watch me say that, and then of course we're recording me playing the second game for the first time, and I'm just running into really bad stuff. And they're like, "No, you stopped playing because you were bad at it," or something like that.
But if they really did,
if they did that,
I would applaud them. I would applaud them. That would be.
I would applaud, and I would legitimately buy that. I would legitimately buy that because that's my bet. That's calling Ubisoft out. You heard me. The person who gets 12 views a week on his channel is calling you out, Ubisoft. Are you gonna answer the call? No, probably
not. But it's too smart of a strategy.
It's too smart, man. We're like the hidden geniuses on YouTube. We really are.
Well, the thing is that like I got zero expectation for the AAA industry anymore. Like they're just lying all the fucking time,
dude. I still remember the Watch Dogs bullshit on E3. that was bad.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and wrap this up. I would like to thank you all for listening in and enjoying our content. If you always like our stuff, feel free to like, subscribe, and share, and maybe even put that little bell thing, because apparently that's a thing. I don't know. I just do a podcast. I'm not supposed to be some algorithm wizard. But anyway, thank you all for listening to us. And as always,
we will see you on the other side.
Hey everyone, this is Paraka.
And Ghost.
I would like to say thank you for listening to our podcast.
If you like our content, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe and share our video with your friends.
You can also follow and support us on other social media such as Minds and Rumble. Links in the description below.